News. We got so much news for you this week. We got court news. We got casting news. We've got all the news coming up on the General Hospital Snark podcast. Well, here we are. Episode 38, Friday the 13th of June. I'm Snark Jr., aka David. I am a writer, director, and producer, and a General Hospital fan since 1973, off and on. I skipped a lot of Sunny Mob years. How about you, Mama Snark?
I am Mama Snark. I am a writer. I guess I could say I'm a comedian. Some people think I'm funny. I don't know. And I'm a grandmother. So therefore, I watch General Hospital. So there you go.
I do get a chuckle out of the knitting and the book recommendations on the Old Lady podcast.
I'm
So
a grandma.
we'll
What can
we'll
I
put
say?
you we'll put you in the comedian category. It's funny, in high school, everybody thought I should be a comedian, and to this day, I still have people saying to me at reunions, "How's the comedy going?"
I
Going
I judge
well.
I judge my comedic skills on how many people on the page post, "Oh my gosh, the coffee just squirted out of my nose." When I get one or two of those, I'm good.
That should be a new rating system.
Coffee nose.
How many spit takes? This
That's
is
the
three
word.
spit takes,
That's
four
the
spit
word.
takes, five. Are we gonna go on a 5 or a 10 system? We
Just
work that
five.
out later.
No, but too much math for 10. Can't do that.
Well, again, I was going to start the podcast with probably the rallying cry of every week in the future, Rory Gibson. But we're going to put him aside for just a second to talk about the news that sort of overtook all news. Erika Slezak is coming to General Hospital. It took Frank long enough. I mean,
We should say to people, so Frank was the guy who was running One Life to Live
yes.
as it died. And so it's not like he'd never heard of Erika Slezak before he worked with her. So why
And
is this taking so long?
And caveat, he did not run One Life to Live in the Ground. As a matter of fact, it
No.
was the top rated ABC soap as it went out. But you
Yeah.
probably all know that story. We won't belabor it here. But yeah, I mean, Frank was with One Life to Live from like I think 1986 on. He
Oh,
worked his
I
way
had no
up.
idea.
He worked his way up the ladder. I think he was started out fetching coffee. He was an assistant and gradually worked his way up to executive producer, which he got in 2003. As much as we pick on Frank, he does pull it out of the
Oh,
bag every
yeah,
once in a while. And there
absolutely.
is just, of course, I'm sure General Hospital wants this. I'm sure everybody wants it to be the number one topic of discussion. Who's she going to play? Who do you think she's going to play?
I don't know. A lot of people on the page are saying she's going to come back in the capacity of someone related to Monica for Monica's farewell. I think that's a possibility, but we've heard her name dropped. We've heard Viki Lord's name dropped by Lulu. And frankly, I'd love it if she just came in as Viki Lord and read Lulu the Riot Act the whole time she's here. She doesn't have to do anything else, just yell at Lulu.
And it's funny. I kind of feel like I think Erika Slezak sort of coming out of semi-retirement
Yeah.
because she did a couple of primetime shows after One Life to Live, but I think I always got the impression that like she really didn't know what to do next, and casting directors didn't really know how to cast her because when you play such an iconic
Oh,
role, and
yeah.
I would put Vicky up there with Erica Kane, Susan Lucci. It's just you're so known for that role and nothing else. Yes, Susan Lucci did many, many other things, nighttime television, TV movies, regular movies. She really diversified, but she always,
But
was Erica
no one looks at Susan Lucci and goes, "Oh yeah, I saw her in that Hallmark movie." No, you see her as Erica Kane, regardless
Right.
of what she's doing. It doesn't matter. I had to laugh this morning because several people were trying to pair Erica up with various people on the canvas. For example, She's Boyle's wife.
Oh,
Know how old she is and how old the guy is. I mean, we're talking a 25-year difference in age here. Somebody
yeah.
else suggested she could be one of Marty's ex-wives. Again, do you know how old she is? I mean, we're talking Tracy Quartermain generation,
Yeah,
not this
I have a
generation.
feeling that people think, they've got her frozen in time, and
Sure.
it's been 12 years since we've seen any episode of One Life to Live, and even longer than that it's been off ABC.
Right.
Unfortunately, like all of us, she has aged.
Yeah, I mean, it happens and it's
Yeah. Yeah.
appropriate. And so I had to laugh at that because I was like, yeah, no, we need to kind of get our generational concepts in line here.
I mean, it is soap operas, the land of absurdity, where somebody 4 years older than their son is their mother. It's how you look. Like Alexa Havens does not look like a woman in her 40s.
No,
Yeah.
she's very young looking.
That seems to be the go-to with General Hospital. And I've never experienced this with any other soap opera where it's like they immediately have to be matched up with someone. And look, General Hospital ain't known for its couples, at least not these days.
Not right now.
And or they have to be related to somebody.
Well,
It's probably Dex's mother. She's Dex's mother.
finally, after all these years,
Finally, we're
more
getting
like
Dex's
Dex's
mother.
grandmother, though. I
Oh,
mean,
you're right, Dex's
hello. I mean,
grandmother. Yeah.
guys, regardless of what she does when she comes back, regardless of who she plays, it will make my heart happy to have her on my screen. That's the bottom line for me.
And it should be soon that she appears because GH is known for dropping their casting news very close to somebody's first appearance. I mean, sometimes it's even the day before
Yeah.
they announce it and then they're there.
Well,
So
even
she should be
even
on screen pretty soon.
of course, the next casting thing, I'm kind of jumping on what you started, but the fact that Britt Westbourne, Kelly Tebald is coming back, is that she even said, wow, I didn't know GH was going to drop the news so fast. So she was caught off guard. And she's just now filming. I don't know when we will see her, but she's been
Right.
filming for a while, and that's when they dropped it.
But I
So,
mean, it was like what, less than a week that we got the Rory Gibson announcement. See, I
oh,
did
yeah,
work him in there. I worked him in
you did. Roy Gibson.
until air, and I will say he has now tied Amanda Setton, Brooklyn, 14 episodes in a row and counting. If he's on today, it's 15. He has been on every episode since he came back. And boy, I never knew I would say, wow, Michael, 15 days in a row.
I know it's a whole new world, as they say.
Yes, yes. So let's cut to the trial. And I
Bum,
guess it
bum.
was a divorce
Slash.
slash custody trial because she granted the divorce and then the custody. Were you expecting that breakdown from Willow?
No,
I thought
because
it was,
I really did not know how the custody thing would go. I really didn't. And I have to say that that judge, whoever wrote that scene,
finally,
French
yeah,
kiss, no notes. Yeah, fantastic.
because it went based on a lot of soaps. They'll have a trial and then they have an outcome that's like, wait a minute, that makes no sense with what happened in
Yeah, but
court.
we got
This was based on everything that happened in court, and she went through one by one, and it felt like a natural outcome to that trial.
absolutely. I thought it was handled beautifully. I have to say though, when Willow turns to Rick and goes, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, honey, you just said your whole life right there. You don't understand what's going on. Oh man, Catatonic Willow is like one of my favorite new characters though.
And again, we've already got the fan theories. They're going to put her in an asylum and she's going to escape and kill Drew and then sneak back into the asylum.
She's going to kidnap Daisy while she's in the hospital
Oh,
and make a
Daisy,
run for
yes.
it. Yeah, the baby.
Yeah, we did that. We did the Heather Weber leave the asylum, kill somebody, and go back plot. One Life to Live did the kidnap somebody else's baby plot. Think it's your own. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. They've constantly surprised me the last several weeks on how things have come out, and it's funny. Everybody's like, "When is that going to come out about Michael in Germany?" And it's like, not all secrets have to come out. and
Yeah,
doesn't need to come out at this point because we've
I
moved on.
I was disappointed that Diane didn't get to do her at the end with
Twist the
the Germany situation and the Drew in the hallway dropping that little bomb on Wiley. However, as we saw, it's all of Willow's missteps lined up to be
right.
revealed in a beautiful way.
And if GH ever gets the kahunas to do a murder mystery, that can come out later
Right.
and be a reason to motivate Willow or whoever.
Right. We've been calling her Cult Barbie for a while, but now we have Catatonic Cult Barbie. And
Catatonic
that's,
Barbie.
I don't know how much better you can get than that. Seriously.
Can't top that one. Some people were questioning why would Laura call Alexis after Elizabeth already said no, I don't want to pursue a lawsuit, and say, let me get your opinion. Does
That
that
whole
seem a little
thing
weird?
was weird, and I wonder if what that is doing is because Laura said go talk to Elizabeth about this, or one of them said I'll go talk to, and
Yeah.
so if Alexis goes and talks to Elizabeth, they're going to be able to look at each other and say, yeah, we know what really happened. That's the only thing I can think. This that
Oh, right. Yeah.
they need to tighten up the accident story. They need to wrap that up and get it tightened up, and bringing Cody bringing Cody in to seduce Ava. I'm like, okay, someone threw that one at the dartboard and wasn't expecting it to land there.
I don't know nothing about no art.
Oh
Can you
my
teach
God.
me?
And here we see a depiction of the early, and Cody, looks like snakes coming out of his eyeballs to me. Yeah, well, dab a little of your eau de dung behind your ears, Cody, and get it done.
Every time he becomes Cody to me, he does something that sets him right back to truck nuts territory.
Seriously.
And I mean, Ava is not known to be this man crazy. So yeah, she could look at him like, oh yeah, he's cute, he's hot, but really, would you give up Rick for
No. Well, first of all, Rick's got money. Why on earth would she want to associate herself with a barn guy, barn dude? Barn dude. I don't even know what the
it's not
technical term is.
it's not her style. But again, thank God if this plot goes awry, which it will,
Hmm.
because Kristina thought of it. But if it goes awry in other ways, it's like what the hell are they doing? At least we have Maura West to salvage it.
Seriously, she could do anything. Frankly, she could make a romance with Cody believable because this woman can do anything.
Right, right. We got through the pills nonsense last year and the sunny fixation. We can get through anything.
I understand that people are saying now that Lucky's gone. Lucky. We did that. We dissected that whole thing last week if you want to see
Oh,
that.
but there's more
Oh,
because they asked his opinion about would you like to see a recast? And he gave to me kind of a snooty answer about, well, like I'd be disappointed or I would be. Why? You use GH when you need quick cash.
right,
It's like an
exactly.
ATM.
Yeah.
Oh, I need some money. Frank, I'll
Check in
come
for
to your
6 months.
appearance.
Yeah. Don't give me a good storyline. Just
Yeah,
put me on the thing
yeah.
because I need some money. Or who knows? Every excuse he gave for leaving was, I live too far away. I want to spend more time with my children. His children are adults for the most part.
Right,
And
right.
I don't know. I say recast. Let's either cast someone with whom Becky Herbst has intense chemistry with, and there have got to be 500 men right now in Hollywood who would audition and have
Oh
an
yeah, yeah, yeah.
incredible thing. Have Lucky have an epiphany at some point. I need to be back with Elizabeth, something, and bring them back and give them the freaking love story they deserve.
Right.
Because I think anyone who cares about Elizabeth, and there are a whole lot of people who do,
Yeah.
are extremely disappointed and let down by all this. At this point, they're like, fine, have her go with Rick. Just give her some happiness.
Well, yeah, whether it's 9 months or a year, they could have done a nice Lucky redemption story. Instead, like Alan Serapis said in his column, he stood around and ate Elizabeth's yogurt.
Or
I mean,
played poker for
he was
what, 6 weeks?
right. He just came back to town and he was like freeloading off his mom and then off Elizabeth. And then, oh, we finally got a bartender job. Ooh.
Ooh.
I mean, in case you haven't guessed, I'm not a big Lucky fan. I like Jonathan Jackson. I like that Jonathan Jackson came back as Lucky. I don't like that there was no story. And I have a feeling like, thanks Frank for wasting our time. Because why bring him back if you're not going to tell a great story? We had very few callbacks to their original romance. Okay, the New York thing and this and
We
that.
got
But it
some, but not.
but it was too, yeah, it was too infrequent
Well,
to
first of
build
all,
on anything.
we really never saw Lucky trying to woo Elizabeth.
Right.
We went from they were sort of crossing paths, and then Elizabeth had the accident, and then they just sat around and played Nintendo for days. And that's not romance, people.
Right.
There needed to be something a lot more. But of course, we didn't get a lot more, and here we are.
Well, and I do like her with Rick. I liked her
Yeah.
with Rick the first time. I like her with Rick now. She sort of softens him a bit. I mean, and now it looks like, yeah, they're going to be pushed together. But you do notice he goes to her first for anything.
Oh,
So
yeah, he
it's
loves her.
already, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, if that's going to be the story, great. But you just wasted the last 9 months for
Yeah.
me. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing I could say is at least she wasn't a victim this
Yeah.
time
Ever
around.
since the Finn fiasco, I just don't feel like Becky has had anything to do. Liz has not really had a major storyline. She's always an adjunct, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
Yeah.
And as many people point out, she's the only living relative left on the show of Steve Hardy.
Right. I mean, she is like premier legacy character, and we
Yeah,
need to be treating
and a
her.
veteran because she's
Yeah.
been on for, oh my
20,
God, almost 30,
25
almost
plus.
30 years.
Yeah, almost 30
Yeah.
years.
Now, the other thing, and I got a clue to this morning, I suggested yesterday that, oh, did they realize their mistake with Colin Cassidy and they're writing Aiden off as well? Well, if you go to the Aiden Spencer, is it Spencer? Yeah. Yeah, he's his one
Yeah,
biological
I guess
child.
so. Yeah.
I get that confused. Although he did adopt Jake and he is Jake's father of record. Yeah, that was my big thing when he came back. It's like you do have two other kids and they are legally yours. And so to refer to Elizabeth and her sons felt sort
Weird.
of odd. Just like, Liz saying yesterday, well, Lucky's from here. No, he's not. So I
Thing.
went on the Aiden Spencer Wikipedia page and it says, Colin Cassidy, 2024 to 2025.
Oh, so
So
peace out.
they gave him a death date. So I think he's out and they're going to recast Aiden. Or like I suggested on the page yesterday, oh, he's off in Europe at cooking school.
Well, and now Liz has no kids.
Right.
How did that happen so fast? Right?
Yeah.
We had all three boys hanging around at one point. We had a potential storyline with Aiden and Tobias that got turned, that never materialized. Jake's in art school, is that right?
Right. Yeah.
And,
And we
and
had a potential romance with Jake and Charlotte
right. And of course, Cameron is off in
in
school.
college with a
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Poor Liz. She's sort of been disenfranchised, hasn't she? At least she's still the head nurse.
I mentioned last week that it looks like they're writing Natalia off, and boy, is the writing so heavy-handed now. Because I don't know what you got out of that scene. I thought she was going to blackmail Sonny. The way
I
she
think,
was approaching that, it felt very like, well, I still have all the financial information on my personal computer. That was weird.
why would she? It's so weird because on the one hand, she's going to do something to double cross Sonny. And on the other hand, she's asking for his, I don't know. Here's the problem. I don't care.
Well, I
I
care
don't
because they're
care.
wasting my time again.
Well, that,
We had a
yes.
couple of Natalia-free weeks, and now it's like she's back on, and we're like, oh, what now?
So is this just another story to prop Sonny? It could be. It could very well be that he ends up being the hero in this story over her dead body or whatever. I don't know. But
Well, we do know Sonny kills people, and then it's just forgotten.
Right. It's just
So,
another one in the vault.
so she could just disappear and we'd be none the wiser.
We would be none the wiser. Well, as Natalia goes, that frees up the budget, of course, to bring back Marty, our favorite
Yeah,
poor
yeah.
attorney.
Who is now an ambulance chaser.
He's now become Scotty.
Yes.
And so that's why we can't have both at the same time because they're the exact same character.
So who's your character of the week?
My character of the week is the judge and how she
Oh,
laid that baby out there.
Mrs. Corinthos, with the exception of a few weeks, has had exclusive custody of both children since December 16th, 2024. In that time, she has moved them from home to home 4 different times. She transported Wiley across state lines without his father's knowledge and chose to have him sleep in the same hotel suite as her and Congressman Kane. Furthermore, in the wake of Mr. Corinthos' catastrophic injuries, Mrs. Corinthos made no attempt to promote contact between the children and their father. In addition, Mrs. Corinthos filed paperwork giving legal guardianship to Congressman Kane, ignoring Mr. Corinthos' custodial rights. Mrs. Corinthos has demonstrated a consistent pattern of negligence regarding her children's emotional well-being, often violating the law in the process. At the same time, Mr. Corinthos has testified that he is fully recovered from his injuries and is capable of caring for his children along with the support of his many family members. Consequently, it is the decision of this court to award full physical and legal custody to the children's father, Michael Corinthos.
Who's her dad? Renee
uh,
Aubergenois. I believe that's
and
how you say it.
Benson and Star Trek. I
Yeah,
mean, he's done movies.
he's
I just saw him
fantastic.
in The Eyes of Laura Mars.
His daughter, who played the judge, now granted, I choose her as the character of the week, not because her acting was that incredible. In fact, really, this goes to whoever wrote her lines because the way she laid out her decision was so clear, so concise, and everyone in Schadenfreude land is going, so that's my character of the week.
Mine, I was originally, because I was thinking about this morning. I do think about some things before I get on here and just babble. I was thinking this morning I was going to say Michael because it's just, again, Rory Gibson is really showing his range and they've thrown a lot of material at him. I mean, he probably doesn't even know what to do because it's like, well, gee, on Young and Restless, I was on once a month. I think he's edged out just slightly by our Queen of Snark, Tracy, because, my thing with Tracy this week is like, not many actors can pull off being compassionate, emotional, motherly with Brooklyn, and then turn around and be the Queen of Snark
Her,
and just
her
shoot him at
performance,
Marty.
her performance on the stand was hilarious.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Talking to Marty about drinking toilet Chardonnay in prison and how she got lovely bouquets and handwritten notes from each of the ex-wives. It was just like
Well, we've
ridiculous.
said it before, and we'll say it again. If they only bring Marty back to have scenes with Tracy, it will be well worth it because those two are magical together, I
Yeah.
think.
That's the kind of comic relief you want. You don't want this forced nonsense that they do half the time. Like Cody riding up on a horse to save Molly because she's got a flat tire. Too forced. And of course, last but not least, you know damn well that Kai is going to go running to Drew about what he overheard.
I am so over that whole situation, the Kai situation. Drew can
Right.
be as nefarious as he wants. That's entertaining, right? But Trina and Kai are just fulfilling their contractual obligations at this point. I'm sorry, there's no other thing to talk about there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a left turn here, David, because I don't
Okay.
want to talk about Kai and Trina.
I know.
My,
She's like, why did he bring her up?
I know
Come up.
my favorite plot whisper of the week was on the page today. I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it, but they said Britt and Liesel are in Dalton's lab, locked in there in Dalton's lab in General Hospital. I went, yes, a lockdown in the lab. This is awesome. We've never done that before. So that,
Well, that's like when Liesel came on and they started to show her backstory, and then you found out she was keeping Robin prisoner
if it
back
gets
in.
them back on my screen, I don't care if they come in as circus performers. I just want them there.
I mean, I sort of have mixed feelings about if it is Brit coming back. I mean, I'd rather it be Brit because I'm tired of this. How many roles can Michael Easton play? How many roles
Exactly.
can Roger Howarth?
Yeah.
It just, it's stretched beyond believability at this point. So just bring her back as Brit, and I'm sure there's a way. There's
Because it's
always a
more
way.
believable to bring someone back from the dead than to recast them in another role.
And they're a lookalike. She really kind of shat on the show when she left. And she was very adamant about kill my character off because I'm never coming back and everything. And of course, it's the same old song. The rent is due. You don't have any work lined up. Frank,
Well,
can
okay,
I come
so
back?
from what I've gathered, and I guess this is gossip, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to pretend that I do. When she left back in whenever General Hospital, she was in a relationship with a British man. She moved
Oh.
to London to be with him, and she tried to get her career going in London. Their relationship did not last. She moved back to the States sometime last year, and so it makes a little bit more sense
Okay.
why she
Well,
would
and
be.
this is the woman that dated Morgan in real life. Yeah.
Well, you got the tea here, boys and girls. We don't know if it's
Like
real tea, but
Kelly,
it's tea.
Kelly, don't do anything for love. It never works out.
Never, 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 never.
Do it for yourself. So, all right. Well, that softens me a bit towards her coming back. But no Brad. If Britt comes back, hopefully Brad will.
Although Britt and Lucas, hello,
That
that
could
could be
work.
fantastic, right?
But I like Lucas with Liz now.
Yeah, but they
Every
can.
friendship I'm shipping.
I know it is a great friendship. I love it. Yeah.
How about some text messages from Wicked Stepmother? What
Well,
she
I
think
she
about
and I
all
had
of this?
she had quite a bit to say back and forth because I sent her the thing about Erika Slezak coming back, and she was a
Oh,
big One Life to Live. She's so excited,
oh, okay,
and
good.
she hadn't seen yesterday because I texted her after watching yesterday's reveal with the court case, and I said, "Hey, how do you feel about that?" She goes, "Oh, I was playing mahjong all day. I haven't seen it." It's what people do. They play mahjong. When Curtis hired Felicia that day. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole nother thing, right? To go find Jacinda. She wrote and she goes, "Oh, Felicia, the eternal ingenue. Good to see you." And it's true. Felicia is the eternal ingenue. And Nina should know because she used to be an ingenue considered that way in the studios. So
Right.
I'm excited to hear what she has to say about the courtroom scene. We'll discuss that next.
Oh, maybe post that on the page.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
can wait a week for that, but well, thanks for listening to our nonsense and twaddle. Because just like General Hospital does a lot of nonsense and twaddle, we love to do nonsense and twaddle
Just
here.
don't fast forward through us.
Oh, please. And as always, let us know what you think in the comments. You agree, you disagree, you love us, you hate us, whatever. We love it all. And don't forget to like and subscribe to subscribe is follow our page on Facebook. And of course, every Tuesday drops a new episode of the Old Lady podcast on this YouTube channel.
And on
And of
social.
course, we're on Instagram. We repost a lot of stuff from other people who are just as clever, if not more.
Mhm.
And of course, there's always the page where our snarkies are always the most clever. They come up with the most amazing things.
They are
That's
so
like, I
funny.
didn't even fathom this in my brain. I come up with the most amazing things maybe once every 3 months. but they come up with it day after day after day.
Yep.
So like, subscribe, send us comments, send us love, send us coffee money, whatever. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.